All right. So people always ask us, why seal concrete? Is it something we have to do? No, you don't have to, but it does extend the life of your concrete if you seal your concrete, because water is what destroys concrete over time. It breaks it down because it seeps into the pores of the concrete. And then when it freezes, it's going to expand and basically break apart that surface of the concrete slowly, little by little, year after year. That's what makes concrete kind of break down. So by sealing it, preventing water from getting in there, you're extending the life of your concrete. There's two types of sealers. There's a topical type of sealer, and then there's penetrating sealer. So a topical sealer is typically going to be an acrylic film that you roll and spray on the concrete. This is used a lot on stamped decorative concrete because it helps preserve the color. It creates a nice shine. Penetrating sealers, they actually soak into the concrete. There's no protective film that it creates. And basically there's a chemical reaction that takes place in the concrete that fills the pores of the concrete, stopping water from getting in there. And that's what we use as a penetrating sealer. We found that's going to last longer. It's not going to change the color or anything of the concrete. So our sealers that we apply are going to be penetrating sealers. So the process is straightforward. It all starts with having a clean surface to seal. So our guys come in and they'll wash down your concrete with a pressure washer. Once the concrete is dry, they'll come back, and that could be the same day or the next day, and then they'll spray on the sealer. Now, they typically don't have to roll it because it is a penetrating sealer. What we want to do is we want to flood the surface. We want to allow that sealer to soak into the pores of the concrete. So essentially they're spraying it on there, letting it soak. After a few hours, the concrete is ready to be used. Okay, so when it comes to cleaning the concrete, essentially we're removing the dirt. Things like oil stains, leaf stains, any type of staining on the concrete, rust marks, those will not be removed with just by pressure washing it. We don't want to pressure wash it too aggressively because it could damage the concrete, especially if the concrete's new. So we come in there and we want to basically just remove the dirt, rust, oil, any type of stain. Those will still remain on the concrete after cleaning it. However, it will not impact the application of the sealer. How is it going to look? Well, penetrating sealers, what's great about them is that it does not change the look of your concrete. It doesn't make it shiny. It doesn't change the color. Doesn't make it slippery. It's going to look exactly the same. However, you'll know you have a sealer on it after it rains because you'll have all these droplets sitting on the surface of the concrete that are basically not soaking into the concrete anymore. So it's actually pretty interesting how the sealer can do that. How long will the sealer last? Now, that all depends on the weather and the type of concrete that you have. In general, the manufacturer says a good penetrating sealer could last anywhere from 8 to 10 years. And all you want to do to check that is if the water is no longer beading, that means you might want to reseal it. But like I said, a good penetrating sealer will get you about 8 to 10 years of service. When can you use your concrete after sealing it? Well, it all kind of depends how sunny it is, how hot it is, but basically it's going to absorb into the concrete the same way water would absorb into the concrete. So however long it takes for your concrete to dry when it gets wet, that's how long it'll take for that sealer to dry. So in general, we find that sealers typically within an hour or two are dry and your concrete is back to normal. You can go ahead and use your concrete within a few hours.